I've read so much on breastfeeding and bottle feeding that I'm confused.
Unfortunately, of all God's creatures, we're the only ones that seem to be confused about feeding our babies. In truth, it's a very simple and natural part of life. We've asked several Lamaze instructors to answer some of the most commonly asked questions about breastfeeding.
What are the advantages of breastfeeding?
There are many advantages to breastfeeding. The first is that it is the type of food that is made for a human baby. It has the right kind of nutrition, the right kind of proteins, the right fats, the right carbohydrates that are made for that baby to most completely digest and to help that baby's brain and nerves, the whole neurological system, develop to the optimum. Breast milk has antibodies in it. Anything that the mother is immune to is passed. Those immunities come through the breast milk to the baby, and this will obviously help the baby be healthier. You have other advantages that this will enhance and support the attachment of mother and baby together. When you're breastfeeding, you are actually physiologically dependent upon each other. It's an interlocking of mother and baby together. It's not just that the baby gains weight and grows because of healthy breast milk, but the mother needs that baby just as much. It's a way of continuing the nurturing that developed during pregnancy when the baby lived inside of you. This nurturing continues with breastfeeding. And to watch that baby grow and develop gives you such individual pride to say, see, this is my baby. This baby's developed from my body, from the nurturing of breastfeeding. It's an incredible sense of pride.
Is there a best way to breastfeed?
When you first put the baby to breast, you want to make sure that the nipple is in the mouth, but also that brown area called the areola that is around the nipple. And most of that should be in the baby's mouth, too. When you want the baby to open its mouth wide enough, what you want to do is begin to stroke the baby's lips with the nipple, and the baby will automatically begin to open its mouth wider and wider. And when it opens wide, then you want to put the baby to the breast. If the baby's not attached properly at that point, then take the baby back off and try it again until that baby's mouth is open wide enough to get that entire brown area and the nipple in the mouth.
I understand that some breastfeeding mothers have a problem with sore nipples.
When we think about sore nipples, most of the time, many people will say or are under the assumption that sore nipples come from nursing too often, too frequently, or too much at the beginning. What we really know is that sore nipples are really due to improper positioning. So positioning is very, very important when you're beginning to put the baby to breast. So that when you begin to feed the baby in this hold, which is called a cradle hold, you want to make sure that that baby is flat against your chest or your stomach area. It's easy to do. You can put the baby's head right in the bend of your arm and bring your arm down the baby's back and hold on to the buttocks and the one leg, and that will keep that baby close to you, and that proper positioning will avoid those sore nipples. When you're feeding the baby and you have finished, or you feel that the baby is finished, you want to make sure that you don't pull the baby away without breaking the suction. Then it can cause sore nipples. So that when you want to break the suction, what you want to do is take your finger and slide it along your breast right into the baby's mouth, and then take the baby away from the breast.
How do I know if my baby's getting enough milk?
You can be sure that your baby probably is getting enough milk if he's wetting more than 6 diapers a day, if he's having regular bowel movements, if he's contented, if he is maybe sucking and you can see the sucking and the swallowing and you can hear it, if your baby is gaining weight, and if he's nursing, especially initially when he's newborn, between 1 and 3 hours each time and lasting for about 10 to 20 minutes each feeding session, and pretty much you can determine that the baby's doing fine.
What should I know about expressing breast milk?
I would wait to start expressing milk until such time as your mature milk has arrived, your baby has gone through its first growth spurt, and until your life has settled down sufficiently that you're willing to take on an additional activity. For most women, that means waiting until about the 3rd week postpartum.
Is expressing milk difficult?
In general, not. What it does require is practicing the techniques that are involved until you feel comfortable with them. Many women are very disappointed with the results that they get at their first attempts at expressing milk from the breast. The yield can be anything from just a few ounces down to a few drops. And what's important to remember is that it takes practice, and over time the yield will actually be quite satisfactory. There are a variety of methods that can be used. Women can use hand expression, they can use handheld pumps, or they can use electrically operated pumps. And my suggestion is that you contact a lactation professional for assistance with what method would be best for you, as well as getting the techniques down so that it would be easily done.
What if I should decide to bottle feed?
I think it's a well-known fact that breastfeeding is the best source of nutrition for your infant. However, modern-day formulas can provide a very good alternative for your baby, and most babies thrive beautifully on formula.
The decision to breast or bottle feed is a highly personal one that most women make on an unconscious level before they've ever conceived. The factors that often contribute to that decision include body image. It will include role models that you've had. Cultural influences may enter into the decision. But whatever the decision is that you make, you can certainly rest assured that most healthy newborn babies are capable of being adequately nourished on any one of a variety of our man-made formulas. And I would suggest that you contact your health professional to find out what particular formula is best suited to your infant.
What should I know about bottle feeding?
If you choose to bottle feed your infant, it's important to understand that feeding is a socialization time with your baby. It's not just a mechanical activity that has to be done. It's important to hold your baby close, to look into his eyes, to stroke him, to soothe him, to stroke his head, and just interact, talk to him. And you'll see some reaction and some response in his eyes as you do that during his feeding time. If you're bottle feeding your baby, sometimes it's an easy temptation to put the baby in an infant seat or a crib or a bassinet and prop the bottle to probably save the mother some time there. This can create some problems, and it's not a good idea to do that. You're depriving the baby of good socialization, good bonding time. The baby lacks that skin-to-skin contact and the interaction with your eyes. The baby may actually choke, which could lead to some physical harm there, and it could lead later on to some dental and gum disease. So if you intend to bottle feed, it's very important that you hold the baby close, that you stroke the baby, talk to the baby, and just make it a real pleasant experience for you and the baby.
When should I start giving my baby solid foods?
One of the questions that many mothers ask is when they should start giving their babies solid foods. Usually this doesn't occur until between the 4th and 6th month. However, this is something you'll want to discuss with your healthcare provider. Here's what several Lamaze instructors and pediatricians had to say about when and how to introduce solid foods.
Introduction of solid